This is what we're making today. Chaliapin Steak Don. We're gonna start off by cutting an onion. Guys, I need you to watch carefully. I'm about to show you my secret on how to cut an onion fast. Wait for it. And that's my secret technique. Anyways, I actually cut up 2 onions. We're gonna use these onions to tenderize the steak. We're gonna lay this sirloin steak on top of these onions and then bury it in more onions. The proteolytic enzymes of the onions is what helps tenderize the steak. We're gonna let it sit for 1 hour. This is umeboshi. If you don't know what it is, they're Japanese pickled plums. We're gonna de-seed the umeboshi, cut it up, and then turn it into a paste. The umeboshi will be mixed with the rice to help cut the fat and bring lightness to the dish. Guys, this is one of the easier Food Wars recipe. I highly suggest you try it at home. It's fast, simple, and really easy to make. It requires very little technique. After cutting up the umeboshi, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar and mix. It should look like this. Next, we're gonna make Yukihira's favorite sauce, burnt soy sauce and red wine reduction. He uses this sauce multiple times in the anime. In a scorching hot pan, I added 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and 500 milliliters of red wine. We're gonna simmer this until it's been reduced to 1/5 of its original amount. After 1 hour, we're gonna pull out our meat. We're gonna unbury it from this pile of onions and then get it ready for seasoning. We're gonna season our meat generously, ensuring that we get all sides of the meat. While I rub my meat, this is where I remind you to smash that like button and hit the notification bells for new videos. And if you really like what you see, hit the subscribe button. It's on the bottom right of your screen. Alright, next we're gonna lay our meat in a scorching hot skillet. If you don't have a skillet, use a pan. It's basically all the same. We're gonna flip the steak every 30 seconds. We're gonna keep flipping it until both sides has an even golden brown crust. I like to do it this way because it ensures even cooking throughout the whole steak. But you can use whatever method you want, whatever works for you. I like my steak medium rare, so that's what we're gonna go for. This steak is about 1.5 inches thick and has quite a bit of marbling. So I'm gonna flip it 8 times in 4 minutes. Once I've achieved the nice crust, I'm gonna turn off the heat and add in rosemary, garlic, and a nub of butter. I'm gonna let the residual heat of the pan do the rest of the cooking. I'm gonna baste this rare steak with butter until it's a nice medium rare. This steak took about 7 minutes to cook. Once it's done, we're gonna put it aside and let it rest for about half an hour. It's very important to let your steak rest to keep it nice and juicy. Next, we're gonna cook up all our onions. We're gonna add a generous amount of oil into the pan and bring it up to temp. We're then gonna add in our onions, season it generously, and then saute it for about 15 to 20 minutes. It will take the onions 10 minutes to release most of its liquids, and we're gonna cook it to a point where it starts to caramelize and give out that nice yellow color, but still has a bite to it. Like this. Now back to our sauce. As you can see, it's reduced quite a bit. It's not overly reduced where it's thick, but it's a nice jus. When you do a spoon test, it will leave a nice streak. After 30 minutes, it's time to cut up our steak. We're looking for a nice medium rare. And look at that. Perfect. And the final step, we're gonna add in our umeboshi to the rice and mix it in very well. Now it's time to plate. This is reality, and this is anime. Alright, it's time to eat, but first things first, we're gonna add in more sauce to this dish. Oh my god, this thing's making me salivate. Only if you guys can smell this. Best steak and onions ever. Alright, let's dig in. First, let's get that steak. It's so tender and juicy. I don't know how much the onions actually help tenderize it, because this steak I have is certified Angus beef. But that sauce though, it's so good. Try it at home guys, it's so simple to make, and it goes really well with red meat. And as for the umeboshi in the rice, it really does help cut the fat. This dish is very heavy because of the onions and steak, but that sauce and the umeboshi in the rice really does bring a lightness to this dish. Overall, this is a really good dish. Try it at home guys, really easy to make. Anyways, if you guys like what you see, hit the like button. And if you guys have any suggestions on what I should cook next, please post in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe.